First of all, Russell Wilson in his rookie year was a Pro Bowler. In his second year, he won this. So we're gonna say that's the defense. He was a Pro Bowler because the defense, the Legion of Boom.
Yes. Yes. Because the defense, yes. Welcome back, Bleacher fans. Welcome back. We got an excited episode for you all today. KC, how you feeling today, man?
Oh man, you know me, always feeling blessed, my good sir.
I feel that, man. I'm feeling the same way. Let's jump right into it. So today we're gonna get into a lot of topics, but we first want to start with the association. That is basketball. I know I keep referring to it as that, but a lot of people don't know, so I always got to clarify. We talking about the NBA, the league, okay? We're about halfway through the season, so we want to give out some mid-season awards. We talking MVP, we talking Rookie of the Year, we talking Defensive Player of the Year. So KC, who's your MVP, who's your Defensive Player of the Year, and who's your Rookie of the Year so far this season?
Well, Ajae, before I do start with that, I just want to say, no, we do not have six man. No, we do not have Coach of the Year because no one has time for all that. So don't people be like, oh, y'all didn't do it. We know. We picked the topics. It's irrelevant. We know. I'm going to start off. Let's start off with Rookie of the Year because I know you're fond of this guy, and I am very fond of this dude right here. It shouldn't even be a debate if you ask me. Just give him the trophy now. And I'm going with LaMelo Ball. I mean, a.k.a. Melo, a.k.a. you already know what's going on. I mean, this dude is a problem. I mean, he's got Charlotte right now, number 8 in the East. Granted, the East is kind of whack. Let's be real. But he's at number 8 in the East over a lot of other good teams right now. And, like, it's not even that they're at number 8 in the East. Like, LaMelo has completely changed the outlook of Charlotte Hornets basketball. Like, this is the one pick that Michael Jordan has gotten right ever. Like LaMelo is that dude. And I think part of it, I don't want to say the Warriors, and I don't want to say the Warriors are wrong because I wanted the Warriors to pick James Wiseman. I don't think LaMelo would have been as effective. Maybe now because Clay is hurt. You know, LaMelo, it would have been good to have somebody like LaMelo, but I think James Wiseman, in terms of a long-term future, is better for the Warriors than I think LaMelo would have been, unless you don't think Clay or Steph can get back to the level of play that they were in the mid-2010s and all of that. But I think that Clay, when he come back, they're going to be fine. But back to LaMelo, I mean, we're looking at number 8 in the East, 15.7, 6 and 6. He's giving you 37% from 3. And like, that's just for the whole season. He didn't start until recently in February. The 14 games that he's starting, he's giving you 21, 7 and 6, 23 points per game over his last 5. I mean, the dude is a problem. He can shoot. He can handle. He's taller than most guards. So, I mean, most of the time he's going to have a mismatch on him. He can run the break. He's quick. LaMelo is everything people thought Lonzo would be. And I remember, and I think we even had this conversation, like when Lonzo was coming up in the league with the Lakers, like, LaMelo is by far the best ball brother. Like, he's better than LiAngelo, who can't even get on the G League roster. And he's definitely better than Lonzo, who on any given night is going to give you 5 and 5. So, like, I'm taking LaMelo all the way. I don't even think, matter of fact, they might as well not even vote for it. Just give him the trophy. Just send it to his house. Wherever his house is. I don't know if he got a house in Charlotte. I don't know if his house is still in LA. Send him the trophy so we can get that out of the way. One last thing I'll say on LaMelo, if you remember, when he was in Australia playing pro ball last year, he started off kind of slow then too. And then as he started getting used to it, he started to pick up his play. And I think LaMelo, I mean, he'll be around for a very long time. I'm going to go to Defensive Player of the Year. It's been a lot of controversy around this one. It's been a lot of controversy, not because of anyone in particular, but I think because usually every year we get to the Defensive Player of the Year and like you kind of just know who it is, right? Like someone had a dominant year on the defensive side of the ball. Last year should have been Anthony Davis, but they gave it to Giannis. That's a question for another day, or that's a situation for another day. But my Defensive Player of the Year so far, I'm going to go with LeBron James. Yes, I said LeBron James. No, I did not stutter.
Wow.
No, yes, this is a very wild. I'm going with LeBron James for Defensive Player of the Year. No AD, no problem. I mean, no big, no problem. They don't have a real true big. Marc Gasol is not a true big. Marc Gasol has cement in his shoes, and we've seen it now for about 30 games. Can't move up and down the court, so I'm not counting him as a big. Anthony Davis has been hurt, and LeBron has still gotten this team to the best defensive rated team in the NBA without Anthony Davis, and he's also leading the league in defensive win share, which is more than Rudy Gobert. A lot of people are going to say Rudy Gobert. A lot of people are going to say Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, first of all, is a borderline all-star this year. Let's just be real. We've seen it. The games he does play this year, he's been okay. I mean, LeBron isn't averaging great defensive numbers, but to be the number one rated defense in the league, you have to have someone anchoring that defense. It's not Montrezl Harrell. It's not KCP. It's not Kuzma. It's not Caruso. It's not Schroeder. Granted, they do play good team basketball on the defensive end of the side, but just looking at the way LeBron James has looked on ball defending, I think he's Defensive Player of the Year. He definitely should be first team all defense. I mean, when's the last time we said LeBron is first team all defense? Probably 2014, 2013, maybe. So I just think that because this year the pool is so wide, I mean, most people are going to say Rudy Gobert, maybe Ben Simmons. I mean, I don't really know who else you would say other than that.
Miles Turner in the conversation. Miles Turner.
So I don't want to disrespect Miles Turner, but let's just be real. I'm not. Miles Turner is not the Defensive Player of the Year because I've seen many games where it's been a Mandalay at the basket against the Pacers. But I just think that LeBron, the way he's played this year in year 18 on the defensive side of the ball is commendable. I think, the fact that you're leading the league in defensive win shares is something that's important. And the fact that he's doing it, like I said, without a big man, and the fact that he's doing it without Anthony Davis, who's arguably the best defensive player in the league, shows that he really is taking it serious this year. And I think if the season ended today, he should be Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think people would agree, but honestly, I don't really care. Now, on to my MVP. Ooh, AJ, when I was picking this, I had you in mind.
Oh my God.
I knew you wasn't gonna agree. And I was like, I can't wait to tell you who I think this year's MVP should be. No, it is not LeBron James. This year's MVP, if the season ended today, should be none other than James Harden.
I knew you was gonna say, oh my God.
I was gonna say James Harden. 25, 11, and 8 since the season started. Since he's gotten to Brooklyn, he's giving you 25, 11, and 9. No KD, no problem. No Kyrie, no problem. The same reason I just gave LeBron Defensive Player of the Year for playing the way he has on the defensive side of the ball without Anthony Davis is the same reason that I'm giving James Harden the MVP for the way he's played on the offensive side without Kyrie, without KD. He's gotten the Brooklyn to 23-13, which is the second best record in the East, only a half a game out of first behind Philly. They've won 9 of the last 10 games with wins over Golden State, the Suns, the Lakers, the Clippers, and he's been balling on both sides of the ball. It doesn't matter, undersized, underman. If we're talking about most valuable player, James Harden has been the most valuable player to Brooklyn, and that's period. Like there's really no other way to look at it. Kyrie, we don't know when Kyrie's going to play. If you want to take a little 2 weeks off, cool. You got James Harden. He'll be there. KD, he's been banged up. Not surprising. He hasn't played basketball in about 2 years, which is what I said would be an issue coming into the season with Kevin Durant. It doesn't matter. James Harden is going to ball. He can still put up 40 on you any given night, and he's doing it on the defensive end of the ball. And lastly, not only is James Harden balling on the defensive side of the ball, but he's also getting others involved, spreading the wealth, averaging 11 assists. There's no way that you can pick anybody other than James Harden for this year's MVP today.
No way you can pick anybody else?
Well, you can do whatever you want, but for me, there's no way.
KC.
Yep.
KC. So I just, want to get my little notes together here. For the Bleacher Gap fans that don't know, off air, me and Casey, we don't tell each other who we're gonna pick for our segments and our predictions before we start. We just kind of start and we run, and we hope we disagree because this is a debate show and we like to debate. And so I'm happy Casey picked James Harden because, in all honesty, James Harden is a great candidate. You know how I feel about James Harden. I feel like he's an ultra flopper. I feel like he is too focused on getting to the free throw line instead of getting the bucket. I don't think his game will translate well in the playoffs, especially on that team. Him being the main facilitator, being the main ball handler. I don't think it'll work, especially on that team. But that's conversation for another day. I'll let you have James Harden. As of right now, James Harden is playing a lot better than I thought he would. So I'll give credit where credit is due. I don't agree, but I can't knock it. I'm going to go to my rookie of the year. I'm going to go in the same order that KC went in. It's funny because we're going to disagree on a lot of things, but what we won't disagree on is rookie of the year. That boy LaMelo. I said it on timeout, and I'm saying it here again on Bridge the Gap. The boy not a problem. He a problem. This boy is serious. He can facilitate. He can shoot from anywhere on the floor. I think you say he's averaging close to 21 points a game, 7 and 6 since he's starting. I don't even bring up the numbers from when he wasn't starting, even though he averaged in 15, close to the same amount of numbers. The thing that shocks me more than anything when you talk about LaMelo, for me, is the efficiency. Now, we're recording on a Tuesday. It may change by the time this comes out on a Friday or Saturday, Thursday, who knows? But as of right now, LaMelo's shooting 45% from the field and 44% from the trade. That is ridiculous for a guy who they said couldn't shoot the ball, for a guy who they said had a really unorthodox shot, for a guy that they said could be a headache and LeVar could get in the way and this, that, and the third. He should have went first overall. I understand, other teams want to go in a different direction. I still think the Warriors would have been smart in taking him. I understand James Wiseman was a good pick. They needed a big. At the same time, could you imagine LaMelo with Steph Curry right now? Oh, my goodness. All I'm saying is it would have been a great combination to have, especially with Klay Thompson being hurt right now. I think the Warriors will be in a better position right now. But I like Wiseman, so I can't knock the decision to pick Wiseman. Again, LaMelo's rookie of the year. I don't even think it's worth a conversation. He's got the Hornets right now in playoff standings. And honestly, I can't remember the last time I've seen the Hornets really in playoff standing. I can't remember the last time, honestly, the Hornets have really been that relevant. So I'll just leave that conversation there. And
it's the Bobcats.
It's the Bob. Seriously though, like we haven't talked about them in ages. So that is what it is. I want to go to my defensive player of the year. Casey, I'm gonna flip the camera back because again, I want to see your face when I reveal the rest of my predictions here, or my midseason awards, I should say. My defensive player of the year is Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons right now is the best defender in basketball. And I'll tell you the main reason why. It's not because Ben Simmons is averaging close to a block a game, a steal a game. A lot of times they give the defensive player of the year award to the bigs. And I understand because the bigs, they lock down the paint, they secure the paint. And honestly, Joel Embiid is a great candidate for that too. He was my second choice, with Rudy being my third. But Ben Simmons could guard 1 through 5. He said it the other day, and he's done nothing but show it all season. It don't matter who he's guarding. He can guard your Kyries. He can guard your LeBrons. He can guard your Kevin Durant. He can guard anybody that you need him to guard, and he will slow them down. Numbers and efficiency-wise, players that he's guarding, their numbers are down any and every time he guards them. Hopefully the man can stay healthy all season because he had injury issues throughout his career. I think if he's on that team come playoff time and he's healthy with Joel Embiid, the 76ers are a problem. Very, very, very serious problem, especially for your MVP so far this season, James Harden on the Brooklyn Nets. I just think much like the MVP. You say the MVP is the most valuable player on the team or the most valuable player in the league and to his team. And I look at Defensive Player of the Year, and I understand giving it to the bigs, like I said, because they lock down the paint. But me being me, I would much rather give the Defensive Player of the Year to a player who I could put on anybody. I don't care who it is. Throw him on anybody, and he's guaranteed to slow him down. But I'll leave that alone for now because I want to get to my MVP. Casey, again, I understand the James Harden talk. I understand it. I get it. I'm not going to act like I don't. James Harden is playing out of his mind. I've heard people say that James Harden is the best player in the world right now, which is just blasphemy. Just blasphemy. I can't believe.
Hey, numbers don't lie.
I can't believe. Hey, he's put up the same kind of numbers every year. He still get bounced in the same round almost every year. Either the Western Conference Finals or, hey, it shouldn't be, but that's a conversation for another day. I want to get to my MVP. My MVP has the 76ers as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. That is Joel Embiid. The boy has been an issue all season long. There's nothing Joel Embiid cannot do. Not only can he defend much like Ben Simmons, but he can score in the paint. He can shoot from the perimeter. He can shoot at the elbow. He can hit late game free throws. They go to him. When's the last time we've seen teams go to their big men in the crunch? It doesn't happen often, but it happens with Joel Embiid because he can score from anywhere on the floor. Joel Embiid has been the best player in basketball so far this year. Yes, I said it, and I will say it again. Joel Embiid has been the best player in basketball so far this season, averaging roughly 30 points a game, shooting 52% from the field, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. I mean, he's doing everything that you need the 76ers to do. The 76ers have a lot of shooters around him, which helps to open up the floor for him. Doc Rivers got him and Ben Simmons playing out of their minds. But again, Joel Embiid right now is the best player in the world. And unlike James Harden, I see there can be a defensive matchup for James Harden. If you're playing against the Sixers, I could throw Ben Simmons on him. If you're playing against the Lakers, I could throw LeBron on him. If you're playing against other teams, I could throw other defenders at him that'll maybe slow him down. With Joel Embiid, you can take AD, you can take Rudy Gobert, you can take Miles Turner. It don't matter who it is. Joel Embiid is unstoppable. He's finally stepping into who he is as a basketball player, and that's why I say Joel Embiid right now, putting up the numbers he's putting up as the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, which I didn't think they would do so far. He's easily league MVP at the moment.
There's no way in the world that you absolutely believe that Joel Embiid is the best player in basketball. And I'm standing on
Come
that.
playoffs, LeBron is the best. We know this. But right now in the regular season, Joel Embiid is the best player in basketball.
So hold on. So you just tried to get on me for picking James Harden because he doesn't perform in the playoffs. But Joel Embiid has never done anything productive in the playoffs. We've seen it. Matter of fact,
he's had less to work with.
Less to work with. You just said Ben Simmons is the defensive player of the year.
I said he was defensive player.
JJ Redick.
I didn't say he was an offensive.
Tobias Harris.
I didn't.
Jimmy Butler.
Come on, bro. That man didn't play.
These are teammates. These are teammates of Joel Embiid.
Compared to James Harden and what he's had at his disposal over the past 5 years, don't try it.
So you're telling me that Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, JJ Redick, Ben Simmons you're telling me that is less talent than Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, who you've gotten on.
Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, Clint Capella, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. Come on, bro.
No, don't try. No. So now we talking. So you talking about Pete? So you taking PJ Tucker or you taking Ben Simmons?
I take Ben Simmons, of course.
Okay, you taking Chris Paul or you taking Ben Simmons?
I'm taking Chris Paul.
Okay.
I take Chris Paul, bro. You taking Ben Simmons over CP?
So the defensive player of the year, who you just said is the defensive player of the year, you taking him? You taking Chris Paul over the defensive player of the year?
Yes, because he's not an offensive threat like that. He's a defensive problem, which is why he's the defensive player of the.
No.
That's like saying, okay, would you rather have Jokic or would you rather have Rudy Gobert? Well, Rudy Gobert is the defensive player of the year, but who would you rather have? I think I'd rather have Jokic.
Oh, even though Jokic has never accomplished anything in the NBA.
But you'd rather have Jokic than old boy out of Utah. Rudy
But
Gobert.
this isn't the same situation. We're talking about Ben Simmons, who you just said is the defensive player of the year, and a 30 at that time, 5-year-old Chris Paul. Ben Simmons today is better than Chris Paul was then. Let's just be real. And then you're talking about, who would you say, PJ? Clint Capella, the same dude that they traded to Atlanta for a bag of chips so they can get him off the payroll.
He was a
after giving him a contract the year before.
He was only other player you really brought up worth mentioning like that was Ben Simmons. Everybody else bounced around from team to team. They done been all over the JJ Redick, Tobias Harris. They've been all over the place, bro.
So Tobias Harris. Okay, so who you said? Let's see. Who'd you say? You said PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, who's I don't know why they don't use Eric Gordon.
So Eric Gordon is better than JJ Redick?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
I'm done. Yes. I cannot believe you just said that. You gonna tell me right now you taking Eric Gordon over JJ Redick?
Yes. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Super cap right here. This is Super Tuesday cap right here.
He's a threat from everywhere on the floor. JJ's a 3-point sniper. Don't want to take that away from him, but what else is JJ gonna do? He's not gonna drive in the lane. He's not gonna shoot an elbow jump. Eric Gordon can shoot it. Eric Gordon is a shot creator for himself, bro. He can create his own shot. JJ ain't creating his own shot.
No. They gave Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and Jimmy Butler, and they choked.
Hey, man.
And they choked. What you mean it happens?
How many times
would you have given you would have given James Harden that same pass if he would have had them three teammates?
Of course
they have 4 All-Stars on one team.
Who?
The Sixers.
4
Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid.
That's 4 All-Stars the same year, though, bro.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Okay, so no. See, you can't do that, because then if that's the case, well, then you can't say Chris Paul, or you can't say who else? PJ Tucker. If Tobias Harris at one point in his career was an All-Star, and PJ Tucker at no point in his career is an All-Star, well, then that would make Tobias Harris then a better player than PJ Tucker, correct?
No, it wouldn't. Because that specific year, specific year. I'm talking about Chris Paul, that specific year. No, Chris Paul wasn't an All-Star, but Chris Paul was
which year?
Chris Paul,
the first year
with Chris Paul, they were on the cusp of taking down the Warriors with KD, bro. They had a squad, bro, better than the Sixers.
And then what happened?
And on top of that, bro, the Sixers just got rid of a. I ain't gonna harp on them too much. I know we need to move on to the next topic, but the Sixers ain't had the best head coach over the last few years either. They just got a good coach. Bro. So
I don't know. I think that's blasphemy to say that Joel Embiid had less talent around him, but you giving Ben Simmons the defensive player of the year. Talking about he can lock down 1 through 5.
That's one quality in his game.
Put Ben Simmons on Joker. Joker will put 50 on that man's head.
Who?
Ben Simmons on Jokic, and Jokic will put 50 on his head.
I can't remember
Ben Simmons on Giannis. Well, Giannis got his own issues.
I can't remember the last time Jokic dropped 50. So that's far.
Like 3 weeks ago.
We ain't dropped 50. We're gonna move on to the next topic. We go all off our we go all off our timer, man. We go switch over to the NFL, because I'm sick and tired of the cap on that end.
Yeah, no, that's super cap. That's not. We'll be back on that. Yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season progresses. I can't believe you said that. That is insane. But big news in the NFL. I'm sure you've seen it. Everybody's seen it. Seems like JJ Watt just wanted to kind of troll the NFL fan base, but he did sign with the Arizona Cardinals for 2 years, I believe $31 million. 21 of that, if I'm not mistaken, I believe was his bonus. So obviously, I don't want to say overpaid, but JJ Watt got paid, and he's going to a Cardinals defense that I think can really use his services. So, I mean, just looking at it, what are your thoughts on JJ Watt going to Arizona?
Well, first things first, I'm extremely happy that JJ Watt got paid. He deserves it. And JJ Watt deserves to play for a contender. He deserves to play for a team that has a shot at making the playoffs. He's played for the Texans his whole career, and the Texans have been irrelevant just about his whole career. I won't say he's wasted his prime in Houston, but he's wasted his prime in Houston. And so again, I'm happy that he's able to make this decision. And I don't want to harp on the Texans too long, but it's crazy to me how within a span of 2, maybe 3 years, you're getting ready to lose JJ Watt, Deshaun Watson, and DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's crazy. Again, they're the worst organization in all of football, and it is being shown consistently on a consistent basis. But that's neither here or there. Again, happy for JJ Watt. As far as what this means for him and the Cardinals, first things first, JJ Watt got to stay on the football field. That's the first thing. Over the last few years, JJ Watt has dealt with a plethora of different injuries. We all know JJ Watt can be a problem when he's on the field, but it's when he's on the field. The best quality is availability. And honestly, he just ain't been available enough for my liking as of late. He's getting older. But again, when he's on the field, he is a problem. Last season, he only was able to get 5 sacks. He had 1 interception. Got about 52 tackles on the year. So he had a solid year. It's not like he had, it's not like the Cardinals are getting 2015 JJ Watt, where he's putting up, 17 sacks, or the year before 2014, where he's getting 20.5. And, they're not getting that JJ Watt. But he is formidable. He is a player that's going to beat his man, his one-on-one matchup most of the time. That defensive line was already formidable. So adding JJ Watt does nothing but help the Cardinals. But I'm not going to come on here on Bridge the Gap on the airways and say that they're all of a sudden a title contender. The Cardinals still have a lot of moves to be made. They're playing in a very, very tough division. You got the Rams coming up. I don't know what's going on with Russell Wilson. We'll talk about him a little later in the show. But if he decides to stay in Seattle, they're always a problem. And then the 49ers are going to get healthy this year as well. And I feel like they will be a different team this football season. So I don't think this is going to instantly propel them to the playoffs. Nevertheless, I do think it was a solid move by both parties. I think JJ Watt could have made better moves. I think he could have went to Green Bay. I think he could have went to the Niners. I think he could have went to, a different organization where he had a better chance at winning a championship. But I understand you don't want to stack the deck and you want to take the money that's on the table. So I'm not going to knock him. Like I said, I think it was a solid move. There were better moves, but it was a solid move, and it's going to make that defense more formidable. But overall, my big takeaway, JJ got paid. I'm happy for him, but I'm still not looking at the Cardinals as no division champion or no Super Bowl contender. That this is not what this move means to me.
I really don't understand why there's just so much hate against the Cardinals. Like, I don't know why you don't like the Cardinals.
It's not hate. It's just me being honest. Like, they're playing in a tough division, and them signing an older JJ Watt that may or may not stay on the field is not going to facilitate them winning the Super Bowl. Like, JJ, if he's on the field, he might get them 1 more win this year. 1, maybe 2 more wins. This ain't 2015, bro. He had 5 sacks last year, 4 the year before. Like this.
I don't name one other person on that Texans defense last year. You can't. So you can't be like, oh, he had 5, and that defense was absolute garbage.
But bro, how many games did they win? Is the point? And even in JJ's prime, the Texans won't win a bunch of football games. So
how many games? How many? But that has to do with something we'll talk about in a little bit too. But how many? What you mean? How many? You said how many games did the Texans win?
I hope you're not getting ready to blame it on Watson. We're gonna talk about that later. But
listen, we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later. We're talking about JJ Watt right now.
Okay.
But are we really saying, you said how many games did the Texans win?
Yeah, the Texans.
You talking about the same Texans team that traded DeAndre Hopkins for essentially a bag of Skittles?
Hey,
are you talking about the same Texans team that fired their general manager and their coach?
It happened.
This is the Texans team that you're talking about that JJ Watt was on, right? The same Texas defense that you can't name anybody else on it because everyone else should probably be in the CFL. This is the Texans.
They're a trash team. About, right? They're a trash team.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Like I just wanted to make sure. But JJ Watt was supposed to be the one out there risking his life time after time for a team that just as garbage. The one time they did have a good season, they choked it away in a quarter, not even a full quarter, a half a quarter. That's the one. This is the Texans team we're talking about. I just want to start this off by saying I hate the Houston Texans. I hate the Houston Texans. I don't care who that offends. I really don't. The Houston Texans are they are the worst ran organization in the National Football League. We haven't talked about JJ Watt, but I've had an issue with the way they've been handling things ever since they traded for Laramie Tunsil, giving away multiple first round picks. If you notice, that's why their draft pick, that's why they don't have draft picks, because they traded it all the way for Laramie Tunsil. And then you gave away arguably your two biggest assets that you had left, and you didn't recoup anything you gave away. That is borderline criminal what the Houston Texans have been doing. I can't stand this team. Now JJ Watt. I just really do not like the Houston Texans and the way they run their organization. I just don't understand it. Even this JJ Watt situation, it's like, okay, I get you want to do right by JJ Watt, but I mean, if the Cardinals are willing, I guess they save money because they're able to make it a bonus. But like, if the Cardinals were willing to spend $31 million to bring JJ Watt into the facility, they could have traded for JJ Watt and restructured this deal. Like, I just don't understand why you let him walk for nothing after you gave away DeAndre Hopkins for nothing. It makes me scared to think of what they might do for Deshaun Watson. He might be free. Like, let's be real. He might be free, but now on the
Deshaun Watson needs to be free.
he should be free. Free that man. What to think of what they might do for Deshaun Watson? He might be free. Like, let's be real. He might be free, but now on the
Deshaun Watson needs to be free.
he should be free. Free that man. All right. Now on to JJ Watt joining this Cardinals defense. As a Packer fan, I was a little salty. I thought he was gonna come to Green Bay. I thought he wanted to be the hometown hero. He always talks about how much he loves Wisconsin. He loves Green Bay. You know, he always dreamt of playing in at Lambeau Field. So for him to not choose Green Bay was a little bit shocking, but honestly not surprising, because the Packers don't open up the bank for anybody unless you are a B-level pass rusher. But, you know, I won't mention any names. JJ Watt is joining a defense that has Patrick Peterson, Budda Baker, Byron Murphy, Isaiah Simmons, Jordan Hicks, and the defensive line that already consists of Corey Peters and Chandler Jones. Them boys is going to be ready. Them boys are going to be ready. I know you think, he only had 4 or 5 sacks. Yeah, we get it. But I mean, them Houston Texans teams were garbage. You look at the rest of the division. I mean, the Seahawks have absolutely zero offensive line, zero. Settle, if I had to say it in another language. I mean, who else we got? The Rams, they're not that great. I mean, they can run the ball, and that's really what the Cardinals struggled the most with last year. Go ahead.
The Rams gonna be a problem this year, bro. I said it here.
Yeah, they will be a problem. Why? Because Stafford? You think that Stafford is going to be the difference? No, the Rams are better when they run the ball.
I think Stafford's gonna make a big difference, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another day. But personally, if you had to ask my opinion on Stafford with the Rams, I think we'll talk about that another day. The Rams are okay. And then you look at the 49ers, they were banged up last year. I think they'll be better this year. But I just think that, I mean, this would make them a formidable defense. They were already the number 13 ranked defense last year. Number 10 against the pass. Like I said, the rush was pretty bad. Number 22nd against the rush. But I mean, number 13 is not bad. I mean, JJ Watt can make you a top 10 defense if you were number 13 last year. Not to mention, you still got the rest of free agency and you still have the draft to build. So, like, they've already built this team, you know, on the defensive side. They got some young guys, they got some vets, but Chandler Jones and JJ Watt on the same defensive line is disgusting. Is absolutely disgusting. As a matter of fact, I don't even think there's a defensive line better than that outside of maybe the Rams, and that's only because Aaron Donald is the best defensive player in arguably the last 30 years. But just looking at this team, I think they could.
Tampa Bay.
Looking at this team, I think that I think that JJ Watt. I mean, we're talking about JJ Watt here, and I know he's been banged up lately, but this dude has 5 double-digit sack seasons. 4, he had over 15 sacks. Let that sink in. It's people that don't even get 15 sacks in a career on the D line. This man had 15 in 1 year, at least. He had 20 twice. 20 sacks twice. He had 5 years of production in 1 season. Like, I just think that JJ Watt being added to a defense that can use him, but is already structurally put in place, I think it's gonna be a plus. And for you to sit here and say that you think that him being on the Cardinals won't equate to more than 1 win is absolutely insanity at its finest. I can't believe that you.
I give him 2,
maybe 2 wins. Okay, so 2 wins, so 10-6. There'll be a 10-6 team. That's what you think?
I don't know.
They were 8-8. Mind you, the Cardinals weren't bad last year. Like, they just kind of choked at the wrong times. Like, they weren't able to close games.
And JJ's supposed to change that?
I'm not saying JJ's supposed to change. Like, we're not talking about. Now, if this was Aaron Donald, this is a different conversation.
Of course.
But I think
or even JJ in his prime, it's a different conversation.
Yeah, JJ in his prime, but JJ now, I mean, he gave you 5 sacks. So you wouldn't take an extra 6 sacks from JJ? Mind you, you can't double him.
Of course I would. But my whole thing is, I just don't think it's something like what. Okay, so let me ask you, what does this move mean? Are they a playoff team now that they got JJ? Like, does JJ Watt make them a playoff team
last year?
Because you said there was a playoff team last year.
Until they got to choking away. And then Kyler Murray got hurt towards the end of the season. They still could have made the playoffs late. They with the extra playoff team. I just think that, you take a look around the rest of the NFC. I mean, I don't see the Bears being there next year unless they make a move. The Rams.
The Rams will be there.
Okay. You think the Rams will be there? I personally do not. But, like, I mean, you look at the Seahawks, they got their own situation that they got to figure out. They fired their offensive coordinator. Russ is unhappy, which we'll kind of get to in a sec. But I just look at it, and I think that the Arizona Cardinals can make some noise. I can see them going 10-6, possibly 11-5 next year. I think they'll be significantly better on the defensive side of the ball. Mind you, Chandler Jones was hurt. He didn't play last year. So it's like you getting JJ and Chandler Jones to that defense. I just think I think there'll be a problem. I think it was a good place for him to go.
I think, and I like Kyler Murray. I know you are a bigger fan of Kyler Murray than me personally, even though I do like his game. I just think that team is going to go as far as he takes them. And I have a lot of respect for JJ, got a lot of love for JJ Watt. I just don't think at this point in his career, he's the kind of guy that's going to tip the scales. Unless you're joining a team like Tampa Bay, or you're joining a team like the Packers, or you're joining a team where it's like you already have a championship contending team already, and then you throw JJ in the mix. Then it's like, okay, the league is in trouble. But adding him to the Cardinals,
so you just don't see it because you're thinking about last year's Cardinals team. You can't change last year. Once again, Chandler Jones was hurt. So you're getting Chandler Jones and JJ Watt next year, 2 of arguably the best defensive linemen in the league. Not to mention, on top of that, like I said, this is just another year for Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray to grow. DeAndre Hopkins gets another year in the system. You still got Christian Kirk. You still got old man Fitz. They got a better offense. The team is going to take another step.
If Russ stays in Seattle, which is still a possibility, bruh, they still probably the 3rd best team in their own division, bruh. Did they not beat the Seattle Seahawks last year? Who won the division?
Did they or did they not beat the Seattle Seahawks last year?
Yes, but if I'm not mistaken, Seattle beat them too, and then they won the division. So
okay, I'm not saying that the Cardinals are going to win the division next year, but to say they're not a playoff team is blasphemy. They were literally
wait. It's blasphemy. Wait, it's blasphemy. It's blasphemy to say a team that wasn't a playoff team last year isn't a playoff team this year.
Okay, you're saying it, but yes, that is blasphemy. When the team we're talking about was literally the 8th team, they were. If one other team didn't make the playoffs, the Cardinals would have been in the playoffs. So to think that they're just not, or they're gonna. Okay, let me ask you this: do you think that the Cardinals will regress?
I think they might. If they were 8-8 last year, I think they might go. I think they win 9 games next year. I think they win 9 games, and I think in a tough division, I don't know if they sneak in the playoffs with those 9 games because I expect the Niners to improve. They were injured. A lot of players are injured on that roster last year. So I expect them, and the Super Bowl kind of hangover, that's kind of over with, seeing as they didn't win anyway. But I'm just saying, how teams, they go to the Super Bowl and then they hang over the next year. They're not as good. So they're going to be better next season. Seattle, if Russ stays, they're going to be better than the Cardinals. Right there, just off those two teams alone, they're the 3rd best team. And then you throw the Rams in there? I don't know, bruh. They might be the worst team in their division still, bruh.
I know. They won't be the worst team. They won't be the worst team in their division.
Who's going to be worse?
Cardinals.
The Niners?
Matter of fact, I'm putting it on. The Cardinals will win at least 10 games next year. I'm saying it right here on Bridge the Gap.
I give them 9.
What's the date? March 2nd, 3rd?
The 2nd. March 2nd.
On March 2nd, 2021. I am saying that the Arizona Cardinals will win at least 10 games next year.
And I'm saying they're going to win 9 and probably be the 3rd best team in their division.
So who will
Rams
be
and the Rams and I say, it's tough, bro. You know what? The Cardinals gonna be the worst. They're gonna the worst team in their division next year, bro. I'm sorry, bro. When I look at the rest of the division now, if Russell Wilson leaves Seattle, Seattle will be the worst team in the division, unless they go and get Dak or something like that. Unless they get another quarterback, I don't think they'll be the worst team in the division because they got weapons over there. But if Russ is there, they're going to be in the top 3. And the way I look at the Rams now with Matt Stafford, and the way I'm looking at the Niners improving, getting Nick Bosa back to that defense, who was a problem, getting quarterback Garoppolo back, problem. I
think we're overvaluing Matthew Stafford personally. But
honestly, I don't like Stafford either. I think he could have did more with Calvin Johnson. But with this team, see, with the Lions, you never really had a defense. Not like how you got now. Now you got a defense that can go out there and shut people down. All you got to do is
the defense is going to help him,
huh?
So the defense is going to help him win games.
Okay. I think so. So.
But for Kyler, the defense doesn't help him win games.
Kyler not Stafford. Kyler's not Stafford.
You're right. He's better.
Not so sure.
Yeah, no. Kyler Murray was the 9th pick in the MLB and the number 1 pick in the NFL as the shortest quarterback in NFL history.
And that's great.
Kyler Murray is better than Stafford.
That's great and all, but they still was 8-8 last year, and I'm not.
So 8-8. That's average. I mean, the Cowboys have made the playoffs 8-8 before.
We ain't gonna talk about that division because my bird's in that mug. So I like how you threw that bait out there. And on that note, we gonna move on to the next topic because our timer, our BTG segment timer has gone off. And we want to move on to something that I know is gonna spark a big debate because I could feel it coming in this last segment. The cap that was gonna come from KC, and I'm just gonna brace myself for it right now. So in this segment, Russell Wilson has discussed that he may not want to play in Seattle anymore. He's tired of getting hit. He's tired of the bad offensive line. Obviously, we all know the situation with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is done with the Houston Texans, and for the foreseeable future, he doesn't look like he's going to play another game for the Houston Texans. And honestly, I cannot disagree. I can't be mad at him. Who wants to play for Houston right now? So with that being said, KC, if you got Russell Wilson on the market as a free agent and you got Deshaun Watson on the market as a free agent, which quarterback would you rather have, Russ or Watson?
without a doubt, let Russ cook. I'm going with Russell Wilson, and it's not even close. I mean, we're talking about a dude that's never missed a game. He went to back-to-back Super Bowls, winning one. The worst season since Russell Wilson was a rookie was 9-7. Now we just sat there and talked about Kyler Murray going 9-7 as an accomplishment. 9-7 is Russell Wilson's worst season as a quarterback for the Seahawks. He's had different OCs. I just mentioned they just fired the offensive coordinator. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, he's going to ball. Last 3 years, he had a quarterback rating of 111, 106, 105, QBR over 70 the last 2 seasons. He's been sacked. This is the thing about Russell Wilson. I feel like what gets lost is he starts off every year, right? Probably MVP favorite. We have conversations talking about, is this going to be the year that Russell Wilson wins the MVP? The problem is we get to about the last quarter of the season and Russell Wilson just doesn't look the same. The reason why he doesn't look the same is because he can't stay off the grass. Like, they haven't been able to protect him. In every season that Russell Wilson has played, he's only been sacked less than 40 times once. Think about that. He's only been sacked less than 40 times one time in his whole entire career. And that was 33. For example, or for reference, I should say, Tom Brady has only been sacked more than 40 times twice in his career. Once 41, another time 41. So, like, let that sink in. Russell Wilson has not been protected. I mean, last year he gave you 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, almost or a little bit over 4,200 yards. I just look at Watson. Don't get me wrong. Watson is an exciting player. Watson is a young player. But do we really know that Watson has it in him? I don't know, because we saw it. Like, no, don't look like I don't know. The one time we saw Watson with the opportunity to take it, he didn't. He blew a 24-point lead in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And don't say it wasn't on Watson, because he had the ball in his hand, and he didn't do anything with it. You can get 24, but you can't continue to get more points. I just look at Watson. He gave you 33-7 last year. Cool. Sure, the team was bad. But when he had DeAndre Hopkins, he gave you 26-9 and 26-12. So it's not like his numbers were significantly better and then they got rid of Hopkins and then they got worse. No, his numbers are actually better without Hopkins. Will Fuller has barely been in the lineup. Who knows when he's going to suit up, because he always has something wrong with him. Like I said, I get that Watson is more exciting. I get that he's younger. He's the shiny toy, but Russell Wilson is unreliable. And no matter what, every single game for 9 seasons, 144 regular season games to be exact, Russell Wilson has showed up and he's given Washington and Seattle fans everything that they've wanted. And I think for you to think that, and I don't know what you're going to say, but I have a feeling that you're probably going to be leaning towards Deshaun. For you to think that Deshaun Watson, you would rather have him over Russell Wilson, I feel like is blasphemy. And I feel like it's completely unfair and discredits everything that Russell Wilson has done in his career, that Deshaun Watson still wants to achieve in his career.
I hate to do this.
No, you don't.
I hate to do this, because I like Russell Wilson. I'm with the whole let Russ cook. You know what I mean? Like, they him and Sierra, their goals. You know what I'm saying? I like how he treats his woman. He's an amazing guy. You know what I mean? He's a great marketable person. He's just a great guy. He's a great quarterback.
He's a great guy.
But Russell Wilson has played with Doug Baldwin. Russell Wilson has played with, as far as defense, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, LOB with Richard Sherman, and Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas and the crew. He's played with amazing defensive lines. He's played with one of the best coaches in all of football. He's played in one of the best organizations of football his entire career. Casey, I'm going to say this, and I'm only going to say it once. If Deshaun Watson was in the exact, and I mean the exact same situation as Russell Wilson, he'd have 2 Super Bowls right now.
No, he wouldn't.
He'd do the exact same thing. Russell Wilson is an incredible talent, bro, but he's got something to work with every year he steps on the field. This year, you got DK Metcalf. Come on, bro. DK Metcalf is debatably one of the best receivers in football. You got Tyler Lockett, who's probably a top 10 receiver in all of football. Your offensive line isn't that great. And I understand, you want to leave because of the offensive line, but a big part of Russ cooking, and people don't want to talk about this, people don't want to highlight this, Russ is not a stationary target. Russ is also not a quarterback who's going to get rid of the ball quick. Russ is the kind of quarterback who likes to air the ball downfield. Well, if your receivers can't get open right away, what does Russell Wilson does? What does he do? He runs around the pocket. He creates more times. He's one of the quarterbacks that you look at when you think of the phrase buy more time in the pocket, extending plays. Russell Wilson is one of the first quarterbacks that you think of. And anybody that knows the sport of football knows that makes it 10 times harder on your offensive line. That's already kind of bad. Same argument I made for Carson Wentz. Yes, our offensive line hasn't been great the last couple years, but at the same time, Carson, get rid of the damn football. Get rid of it quicker. Start intermediate routes. Throw some screens in there. Stop trying to air the ball downfield. Maybe you wouldn't be on the turf so much. When I look at Deshaun Watson and what he was able to do this past year with nothing, you can contribute it to, he has better numbers without DeAndre Hopkins than he does with DeAndre Hopkins. I say Deshaun Watson is still young. Deshaun Watson is still learning how to be a better football player. He's only been in the league, 4 years now? Last year, He threw for more yards. He had a better QBR rating. And if I'm not mistaken, as I look at the stats right now, he threw less interceptions. Deshaun Watson right now is the younger quarterback. Right now, he's the better quarterback. I believe come crunch time, he's the more reliable quarterback. And again, we just got done talking about how the Houston Texans are the worst organization in all of football. Deshaun Watson putting up 33 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, leading the league in passing yards with a QB with a rating of 112 for the worst organization in all of football. Could you imagine what he could do in an organization like Seattle? Because he's not a stationary target either. He can get outside the pocket. He can extend plays just in case your offensive line breaks down. He could do everything Russell Wilson can do. Everything from the deep ball to the accuracy to the short immediate pass. He's younger. He's faster. He's stronger. I'm taking Deshaun Watson all day. That's not an indictment against Russell Wilson. But, bruh, Russell Wilson got playmakers and has had playmakers on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball his entire career. We've never seen Russell Wilson without weapons. Never. Whether on one side of the ball at least. LOB, Baldwin, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Chris Carson.
The same Chris Carson that misses like 3/4 of the season because he can't stay healthy.
But you got DK and you got Tyler Lockett. Who does Deshaun Watson have? And even when you had Hopkins, outside of Hopkins, who do you have on the offensive side?
Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks,
nobody.
Nobody. So you tell me? Okay, give me somebody outside of DK. So you gonna tell me Baldwin is a better receiver than Will Fuller at their best? Or are we taking Percy Harvin with the? Are we talking about Percy Harvin with the migraines? That's what we're talking about.
Hey, I forgot. That's another one.
I know you did because they only played like 3 games with them. They only played like 3 games together. That's
still another weapon. I'm trying to.
No, I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is I'm rolling on Watson because I think Watson can do more with less. And he's playing on an organization that's god awful and has been god awful for a while. What? And I think that we've never seen Russell Wilson be the same Russell Wilson without his weapons. Russell Wilson, you want to complain about not having an offensive line when you got one of the best organizations in football, you got one of the best coaches. Bro, take Russell Wilson is in a better position than probably 80% of every other quarterback in the NFL. 80% of quarterbacks in the NFL would love to play on the Seattle Seahawks. Bad offensive line and all, because you got Pete Carroll, you got a solid run game, you got 2 great receivers, and you got a defense that can create turnovers. I'm definitely rolling. I'm definitely rolling with Watson, who has nothing to work with, but will still give you numbers and go out there and give it his all.
I don't understand sometimes like how you formulate some of these opinions. Like I really don't. And I mean that in the most like respectful way as possible. But for you to sit here on Bridge the Gap and cap the way that you're capping right now on Russell Wilson makes no sense. First of all, you brought up Doug Baldwin like he's some superstar type receiver. Oh, Watson, first of all, Russell Wilson in his rookie year was a Pro Bowler. In his second year, he won this. So we're gonna say so that's the defense. He was a Pro Bowler because the defense, the Legion of Boom.
Yes. Yes. Because the defense, yes. Yes. Because the defense creates turnovers and puts you in the red zone.
Okay.
You starting from the 40-yard line every possession because LOB out there getting turnovers.
But the red zone is the hardest place to score on the field because the field shrinks. So for a young quarterback, you telling me as a rookie, Deshaun Watson wasn't an all-pro his rookie year. He played 3 games.
Bro, he got nobody. You say he played 3 games?
Yeah, his rookie year, he didn't play.
Well, that's the problem right there.
That's on Bill. That's a Bill O'Brien problem right there. But Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl in his second year in the NFL, which is the same age Deshaun Watson. Okay, that's fine. Right. I feel like we're at this point, right, in this conversation where you're going to continue to say like Russell Wilson had like talent, right, on both sides of the ball. Yeah. Let me just read you a few of Deshaun Watson's teammates that he had the year that he choked when they were up 24 points against the Kansas City. Let me just read you. I just want to read you. I just want to read you. He had JJ Watt, who had 16 sacks that season. He had Whitney Marcellus. He had Jadeveon Clowney. He had Kareem Jackson. He had Tyrann Mathieu on the defensive side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, he had Lamar Miller, Will Fuller, and DeAndre Hopkins. So we're gonna sit here and really act like this man didn't have targets?
Casey, the Chiefs. So we gonna knock Deshaun Watson down for losing to the Chiefs, bro.
If Russell Wilson was up 24 points on the Chiefs, you think he loses that game?
If he got LOB,
don't cap.
If he got
no. It doesn't matter.
If he got LOB, no. But playing on the same team with without if he's in the same situation as Deshaun Watson, yes. The Chiefs came back on everybody they played that year. They played some great teams on the way to the Super Bowl. They came back in the Super Bowl. We're talking about arguably the greatest offense we've ever seen. The team that just went to the Super Bowl 2 years back to back. And we want to knock Deshaun Watson because he wasn't able to beat that team? Hell no.
No.
Listen, I understand that's an indictment against him. I do get it. You can't give up a 24 nothing lead. You can't get that kind of deficit lead up, especially in the playoffs. But it falls on him, as well as it falls on coaching, as well as it falls on that defense as well. It falls on some of everybody, bro. It ain't just on Deshaun Watson. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I'm not gonna completely dismiss it, but bro, the Chiefs, Casey. The Bridge the Gap fans, they know how much you rave about Patrick Mahomes and those Chiefs and how great they are. We can't knock him for that.
Yeah.
We can't knock him too much for that.
Yes, we can. Of course we could knock him too much for that. You wouldn't give Aaron Rodgers the same pass if he blew a 24-point lead?
Because that's Aaron Rodgers. He's more of an experienced quarterback.
What you mean that's Aaron Rodgers? You just sat there and tell me that Deshaun Watson right now, you would take him over a Super Bowl champion in Russell Wilson. Yes. But now it's because it's Aaron Rodgers.
At the moment.
It's because but if it was Aaron Rodgers, it's because it's Aaron Rodgers.
Because he's younger. And his peak, I think his peak, he's just now getting to where his peak is. Deshaun Watson's still young. He's still climbing, bro. As you can see, year to year, Deshaun Watson is improving and is with a terrible organization. Now, I won't give Aaron Rodgers the same pass because Aaron Rodgers is 36, 37 years old. Aaron Rodgers shouldn't allow nothing like that to happen because he's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game of football. The most talented quarterback we've ever seen. I'm not gonna give him the same pass I would give Deshaun Watson. The same way I wouldn't give the same pass to Tom Brady or Drew Brees. Them players that are older and experienced and have been there, done that, no, you can't get that up. And I don't completely give Deshaun Watson a pass either. I said it was bad, but I refuse to not acknowledge who they blew the lead to. They playing the Chiefs, bro. This is the same team that went on to come back against every team they played and win the Super Bowl. The year they won, and then go to the Super
Russell
Bowl
Wilson wouldn't have let that happen. Russell Wilson wouldn't have let that happen.
Yeah, because he's gonna be relying on Sherm and Errol Thomas and
matter of
Ken
fact,
Chancellor and
didn't Russell Wilson make it to a Super Bowl after coming back down like 15 against the Packers with like 4 minutes left?
Is that
do you trust Deshaun Watson? Do you trust Deshaun? Is that the same Super Bowl that what? Pete Carroll should have ran the ball? Yes, that is the same Super Bowl.
Hey, who threw the pass though?
It was a great play by Malcolm Butler. He been getting paid, and he been getting paid. No. Who wasn't throwing the pass when they was letting the Chiefs run up the score on them after being up 20? I guess now JJ Watt and DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, Brandon Cook. I guess those are just scrubs now. They
not scrubs. But you mentioned one defensive player, JJ Watt.
What are you talking about? I gave you JJ Watt. Who else we got here? In 2018, he played with JJ Watt. He had Whitney Marcellus. He had Jadeveon Clowney. He had Kareem Jackson. He had Tyrann Mathieu. What are we talking about? That's not a good defense. Those aren't good defensive pieces.
Wait. They didn't have Tyrann Mathieu the year they
Yes, they did.
Tyrann was with the Chiefs because they won the Super Bowl.
No, he wasn't. No, I'm talking about 2018. He went to the Chiefs in 2019. That's the year they choked. That's on my bad. They choked in 2019. 2018 is when he had Tyrann Mathieu.
Okay. Listen,
the bottom line is
I can't completely excuse him, but he was playing the Chiefs though. Come on, we know how the Chiefs get down.
That's fine. Tom Brady ain't never lost to the Chiefs.
That's the GOAT, bro.
And it don't matter what team he on. Tom Brady doesn't lose to the Chiefs. Period.
But he's the GOAT though. You know what I'm saying? If it came down to it, I'm taking a GOAT over anybody. It's the GOAT, bro.
You would not take Tom Brady tomorrow over Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't. You wouldn't. That would be foolish.
For one season, I'll take.
One season, yeah. I'll give you time. I'll take 45-year-old Tom Brady for one season. Okay. You better have the best offensive line though, and a really good defense. So you're gonna be average, just like every other team that don't make the playoffs.
Go recruit everybody from Tampa Bay and get them to come play for your squad.
Pretty much everybody that hasn't got picked up yet in about 3 years that can still ball. That's what you got to do.
I think what we take it from this conversation, Bridge Guy fans, is we both agree that we're gonna roll with Deshaun Watson. And
I think we both agree on what we'll say.
I'll let you close us out, man.
Yeah, let's get up out of here. Bottom line is we appreciate all the support. Like, share, subscribe, do it all. Tell your friends. It's the BTG family. On that note, we'll see y'all later.
Catch y'all next time.